Hi guys, Jim here. Tonight I thought I would do something a little bit different than what I've been doing. A little bit different firearm. So, what we're looking at tonight is a lever action rifle. This one in particular is a Marlin. It is a Marlin 1895 STP in 4570. Back in 2005, Marlin and Davidson got together and made a limited run of 501 of these particular rifles. It came stainless steel with the laminate wood furniture, 5 round full length magazine tube, and a 16 1/4 inch barrel. When I got this, it was pretty much all stock. Previous owner had installed a Wild West Guns Happy Trigger in it, which lowers the trigger pull to about 3.5 to 4.5 pounds. After I got it, I decided to do some modifications to it. So I ordered up from Excess Sights their lever rail. And what the lever rail is a piece of Picatinny rail that mounts receiver up onto the barrel. Gives you the option of traditionally mounting a scope back here, or you can go with a longer sight radius scope, like a scout scope, mounted up here further on the barrel. Depending on the ammo you use, how you load it up, these can be some fairly hard recoiling rifles. So having a scope that's nowhere near your eye can be a serious benefit. But the XS lever rail, it came with a replacement front sight with a white line express sight, and it came with a ghost ring rear sight. And I'll tell you right now, the ghost ring sight setup on one of these rifles is an exceptionally fast acquisition sight. If you're going to be carrying this, let's say you go to Alaska, do some fishing, do some hunting, whatever, you may run the risk of running across a grumpy, hungry bear. You want something that you pick up in your sights really fast, and the ghost ring and express line front sight, exceptionally fast acquisition. Not the most precise sight for long distance shooting, because you do have a decent sized aperture in the rear. So to solve that issue, I ordered up a threaded aperture, and then I contacted Williams for a threaded in peep sight. So when I want, I can unscrew the Williams peep out. I've got the nice big fast aperture. When I don't want to do some more precision shooting, screw it back in, and it's a lot more fine sight picture. I took this rifle out to Utah and went shooting with George Hill, the Mad Ogre, and we were making regular hits at 400 yards on steel with a 16 1/4 inch barrel, 4570. Now, like I said, I went through, installed my sighting system of choice. When I got the rifle, it had a set of Williams fiber optics fire sights, which are good sights, but weren't exactly what I wanted. This right here is pretty much the sighting system off of the Marlin 1895 SBL. But I got this, and I got it more as just, ooh, that's kind of neat, I'd like to have it. Since I've got it, this is my constant companion. When I get in the truck to go somewhere and I'm going to be gone for a while, this goes in the truck with me. This is my truck gun. It's also my shoot anything that gets in the way gun. With the right ammunition, 4570, we'll shoot lengthways through a grizzly bear. Yeah, go in his chest, come out his ass. For something like that, you need something like a Garrett Hammerhead 520 grain hard cast load. But yeah, this will take anything walking in North America. There have been people that have taken 4570s to Africa and done big game hunting, dropped elephants with them. I don't know if I'd do it, but others have with success. But no, this is my personal defense rifle. Most people out there will have something like an AR-15 for their personal defense rifle. I've got an AR-15 back at the house. I take this with me. It doesn't have the capacity that an AR-15 has. This right here has got 5 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. So I've got a total of 6 rounds in the rifle and 9 more rounds sitting on the butt. But I know this rifle. I shoot it a lot, and I know how it performs. I know how to make it perform. Depending on the ammo I choose, I can load up 100 grain aluminum bullets from Lehigh in Pennsylvania, and it's an amazing personal defense, home defense round. You've got a 45 caliber 100 grain aluminum bullet stepping out at a little better than 3,000 feet per second. That will do damage to a intruder. You can load it up with, let's say, these rounds. These are Winchester 300 grain ballistic silver tips. It's 300 grains moving out at about 1,800 foot per second for about 2,300 foot-pounds of energy on a hit. And it's 45 caliber. It's the ballistic silver tip, so it expands fairly nicely. Great deer round. I can go to Hunting Shack, order up 430 grain hard cast bear load. Got an amazing bear round. So the versatility of the 4570 round is astounding. The round was introduced in 1873, same year as the 45 Colt, and 4570 means 45 caliber, 70 grains of black powder. This is one of the original old black powder cartridges, and it was a low pressure round. It was brought out in the Springfield trapdoor. And if you have one of those and you shoot some of the modern hot loads or hotter hand loads, you stand a good chance of blowing up a rare rifle and injuring yourself. So, keep it to trapdoor loads or loads that say all rifle. But no, this is a modern manufacturer, Marlin. So from the research I've done, they're good to about right around 40,000 psi. So you can get some very powerful rounds for these. This one right here, it's one that I know that I stake my life on. So I've went through it. I've stoned and polished the internals, made sure everything was properly clearanced. If you go to your local gun shop and check out a lot of the newer manufacturer Marlins, you'll get them and you'll grab a hold of your lever and work it and cycle it through, and they're fairly stiff and not real smooth. This one has had just a little bit of work, a little bit of polishing, a little bit of stoning. It's running with Slipstream Weapons Lube, and you can cycle it all day with or without ammunition in it with your little finger. It is a very well built rifle. It is a nicely tuned rifle, and it will pretty much do most things that a person would ask a rifle to do, other than long distance type shooting. This is a 16 and a half inch, 16 and a quarter inch barrel with aperture sight that doesn't have a whole lot of height on it. So with the trajectory of a 45-70 round, which is more like a rainbow arc than a straight line, you'll need something that, has a lot of adjustment. But the 45-70 round in a longer barrel rifle is used in 1,000-yard rifle competition to this day. I mean, they're consistent. And that's something I would love to try. I'd love to get a Shiloh Sharps or a Quigley and try out the long distance shooting, because it's totally different than most long distance shooting that people do now, because of the weight of the bullet and the arc on it. It's more like shooting artillery than it is like shooting a rifle. But this is my buddy. This is my constant companion. Anywhere I go. Right now, I'm in a motel room in Pennsylvania, and it rode in the back seat with me. And I rode with 45 on my hip, but if for some reason things got hairy for whatever comes up, I've got this with me. And I have no real issues with barrier penetration if something happens. Someone's behind a car door, okay, might as well be paper. Someone's behind 2 car doors, same thing. It'll shoot through the car without a second thought. If you don't hit the engine block, there's a good chance you'll shoot lengthwise through the car. But thing about using one of these for personal defense in the house, people are always trying to figure out for what to use so you don't go through the sheetrock. Do you use a 223 that may break up in the walls? A 9mm might penetrate more. You're going to shoot through your house. Your average 45-70 load, you're shooting through your neighbor's house. There's not a whole lot of hiding from one of these. So if you live in town, I wouldn't say this is the ideal rifle. If you live in the country, hey, go for it. It's a lever action. There's a lot of people have the opinion that, the lever action is outdated. It's not a semi-automatic. It's not a higher capacity. But almost anywhere you go that people do see rifles every now and then, they don't think twice about one of these. You're walking around, if you've got your AR-15 or your AK-47, the public may be a little bit worried about that. If they see you walking out, to or from the truck with one of these, oh, it's a hunter. It's a guy going hunting. They don't think a whole lot about it. So, whether it's, one of these 1895s and 45-70 or 450 Marlin, or one of the Marlin 444s, or the 336 in 30-30, or if you get something like a Rossi 92 in 44 Magnum or 357 Magnum, you load up a whole bunch of the pistol rounds in the magazine. You'll pretty much double up your capacity over what I've got right here. And it's not a bad defensive arm. The 44 Magnum and the 357 are noted good defensive rounds. You put them in something with a 16-inch barrel over the 4 to 6-inch pistol barrel, you pick up a good bit of velocity, and you turn it into a viable, closer range deer rifle. And, I can't say enough about how good a rifle a lever action is. A properly tuned lever action is a thing of beauty. I mean, it glides. It's a rifle that, you become part of. You use it long enough, and, it is second nature. You know, you go somewhere, it doesn't have a carry handle. I took my sling off of this one for the video, but they balance. They balance at the receiver. You walk around and you can hold it at the receiver. You know, you can hold it at the loop. You know, it's nose heavy, it'll hang down. But they're comfortable. They're comfortable, they're comforting. And they are just, you know, outstanding rifles. They're great to take to the range. In a lower powered round, they're good for home defense. And it's a rifle that people don't give a second thought to. With the issues going through in New York right now, you know, you've got your semi-autos that are under attack with the magazine capacities higher than 7. You know, this holds 5+1. It's not something that is in their sights at the moment, or that their advertising is in their sights. But it is a competent rifle for anything you need to do. You know, if you have to use it in a defensive mode, you know, you don't have a magazine to swap out, run it like a shotgun. Take a shot or two, get behind cover, take a couple of rounds, stuff them in, top off as you go. If you run it dry, take your round, throw it in the port. Slap the lever closed, take another round, stuff in. You can keep it running without having to change magazines. And once you get used to it and get used to running it, it's something special. I said, you know, I've got an AR at home. I've got, you know, 308 bolt action at the house. I've got 300 Win Mag at the house. But this is what, when it comes down to it, I trust. I've used it a lot, and I load for it, and it is my companion. It's my truck gun, and it's the gun that if, you know, the world goes to hell and I'm not at home, this is what I've got with me. And, you know, I can't give a higher endorsement than I trust my life to a firearm. So, you know, if you're interested in anything about lever actions, you know, leave a question in the comments. I'll try to get to it. If you're wanting to look into maybe training with it, go to wethearmed.com and hit up George Hill, the Mad Ogre. He is a trainer with an interest in lever guns. You know, get a few people together that, you know, would like to have a class, and he will put on a lever action carbine class. He will teach you how to run it to get the most out of your rifle, and, you know, you will be all the better for it. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see